Yeah, if you're doing these 6 things here, I'm sorry, man. Unfortunately, you're never gonna be rich. Just get comfortable living check to check. What is good, YouTube family? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new, let me formally introduce myself. My name is Dudley, aka Dudley Dud. On this channel, we talk about many different topics. We talk about health, nutrition, business, and we have some entertainment. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the 6 main differences between the rich and the poor. Now, in this day and age, I'm pretty sure you've seen somebody flexing on the gram. You've seen somebody taking trips, looking like they're living lavish. It ain't always how it seems. I'm gonna tell you guys that right now, okay? It seems like in this day and age, everybody just has money. Nobody's an honest worker anymore, huh? Everybody has it. So let's get into it, man. What are the 6 main differences between the rich and the poor? The first main difference between the rich and the poor: self-development. That's right, self-development. Now, the average American spends an average of 4 hours watching television per day. 4 hours. The main difference between the rich and the poor is that the rich person, the rich man or the rich woman, is constantly evolving, constantly working on themselves, constantly educating themselves. You see, the rich person understands that in order to make a lot of money, you have to render a service. In order to render a service, you have to be a person of value. That is the way to earn a lot of money. You have to add value. So the rich person is constantly reading, educating themselves, familiarizing themselves with different avenues, different things that they may not know. So they're constantly learning. They understand that the world is ever changing. They're able to adapt. They're able to educate themselves. Now, if you go into the typical person's house, what do you see? You'll see more than likely a big television, an entertainment system, some alcohol, and don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing those things. I have an entertainment system. I love to do all those things in moderation. I like to watch TV from time to time, but I don't watch it that much. But the point I'm trying to make here is you'll see a lot of entertainment. You'll see stuff that isn't really pouring back into the individual. And that's the main difference. The rich person understands that they have to constantly pour back into themselves. Knowledge never stops. We're going to be learning for the rest of our lives, at least the rich people will. Are you going to continuously educate yourself? That is what separates the rich between the poor. You see, the rich treat their lives as investments. They're always investing in themselves. What book can they read? What person can they meet that can educate them on something? What can they attend? What seminar can they go to? What type of conversations can they have that will be edifying for them, that can elevate their ways of thinking, that can just help them acquire more wealth, help them just embark on new journeys and experience different things? So that is the first main difference between the rich and the poor. The rich are always reading, always educating themselves. Now that I'm talking about reading, I would love to bring up that this video is sponsored by Audible. Nah, I'm just joking, man. I had to because I've seen all these, videos sponsored by Audible. But that is the first main difference, guys, is self-development. Educating yourself, investing in yourself, and working on yourself. Number 2, the second main difference between the rich and the poor is adversity. You guessed it. Now, the poor person will look at adversity or a challenge and play the victim. They'll try to blame everybody else as to why they can't do what they want to do. As opposed to the rich look at adversity and challenges as a way to grow, as a way to condition themselves to become who they want to be, as a way to acquire knowledge on the ladder up. You see, the rich take adversity and they grind through it. And it makes them a better person. It gives them perspective, okay? You have to go through certain things in order to evolve and become who you want to be. And that's what the rich are very good at doing. Evolving, changing, keeping it moving, okay? And they look at challenges as a way to learn, because that's all obstacles are. If life didn't have any obstacles, it wouldn't be worth it, because everything would be easy. Everything would come to you smoothly. That's not the point of life. Now you see, a poor person will typically face some adversity and they'll just lose all of their composure. They won't know what to do. They'll play the blame game. They'll say this happened because of that. They'll look at every other person around them except for themselves. They'll blame everybody as to why they didn't get a basketball scholarship, as to why they didn't make money, as to why this deal didn't go through. They'll blame everybody rather than looking in. Where as a rich man or rich woman, they'll see a problem, they'll be like, okay, this is what it is. And then they'll plan and be like, this is how I'm gonna get through this. So if you're somebody that's dealing with adversity right now, I just want to encourage you to look at it from another perspective. Understand that this is a blessing in disguise, because it's going to help condition you to be the man or woman that you were ultimately designed and called to be. And that's the second main difference between the rich and the poor. The rich understand that there's going to be obstacles along the way, all right? So look at it this way. Think of life as a graph, right? And you're constantly going up as you're elevating. Now, it's not gonna be perfect. Nobody just goes up like this. But there's gonna be little dips along the journey. But as long as you're always constantly ascending, even with the little dips, as long as you're ascending, you're making progress. So understand that adversity comes with the territory. Anything worth having, any great thing that you want to achieve is going to be met with some form of resistance. And I need you guys to understand this. It's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. There's going to be little pitfalls. But remember this, if you don't take anything else from this video, remember this: as long as you're constantly ascending, even with the little dips, as long as you're constantly going up, look at adversity as a blessing, because you're getting conditioned to be that great businessman or businesswoman that you were ultimately called to be. The third main difference between the rich and the poor. Y'all not gonna like me for this one, man. Assets versus liability. Now, in the beginning of this video, you heard me talking about how people love to flex on the gram and look rich and buy these things. And you know, from the outside looking in, it looks like that person has the perfect life. They're traveling, they have this, they have that. The main difference between the rich and the poor, they don't get caught up in trends. They're not constantly buying the new clothes and new shoes and new cars. Now, while rich people have nice things, they have things of luxury. The rich person understands that there's no main difference between a $20 pair of K-Swiss and a $100 pair of Nikes, because they understand the concept of wholesale. You see, a lot of these brands all get their stuff from the same factory and they upsell you. They have to make profit off of it, so they charge for 3, sometimes 4, sometimes even 10 times the original price that they paid for it. And you understand, rich people aren't caught up in the trends and clothes because they don't care about that stuff. All of that stuff depreciates. For example, if you bought a brand new car, once you drive it off the lot, it doesn't matter if you back it right up. It's lost value. And rich people are always investing in things that can bring them more money, such as artwork, real estate, you know, stock, things of value. Things are gonna multiply their money. Things that are gonna make money work for them, you know, rather than trading their time for money. And you have to understand that a lot of people are going broke trying to look rich, okay? They don't have any assets. They're buying a whole bunch of stuff that ultimately adds no value and is doing a great disservice to them. So that is the main difference between the rich and the poor. The rich spend their money on things that are going to be more lucrative for them, things that are going to multiply their money, things that are going to allow them to have passive income, things that are going to allow them to have more financial freedom, things that are ultimately going to allow them to leave a legacy for their kids and their kids' kids. As opposed to the poor person, they're gonna buy things like jewelry and things that don't really matter. And don't get me wrong, I myself like jewelry. I own a couple of pairs of very nice jewelry. I have things, I have sneakers, you know, and I like to take care of myself and splurge on myself as well. But I also have some money tied in investments. And that's the main difference between the rich and the poor. Poor people are always thinking about the now, instant gratification. They don't care much for the long haul. The fourth main difference between the rich and the poor is time versus money. Now, you see, the rich understand that the most valuable thing that we have is our time. As for the poor person, they're literally stuck in the rat race. They think that the harder they work, the more money they're gonna make, with that mentality, you'll be living check to check for the rest of your life. I'm gonna be upfront with you right now. You see, the rich understand that time is more valuable. So for example, if a businessman has a business now, when he first starts the business, he's gonna be doing everything on his own, manual labor, fulfilling orders, for example. But as that business begins to generate more revenue, he's going to hire somebody to do tedious tasks such as fulfilling orders, customer service, in order to free up his time so he can invest his time into things that are going to be more lucrative for him, or just simply invest his time in his family or freedom. And if he wants to go have lunch on a Tuesday morning, he can. You see, the rich understand that time is extremely valuable. It's the one thing that we can't get back. So if you're stuck in a rat race and you're trading your life away for $12 an hour, you're never gonna be rich. Even if you're getting paid $20 an hour, you're never gonna be rich. The rich person understands that freedom and time are the most important things. So they're gonna invest their time according to what they want to do, things that are gonna make them more money. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with having a job while you're building yourself up, but understand this, if you're trading your time for money, you will never be rich. And this is what we call as the rat race. This is why the rich will often pay somebody like an assistant to do tedious tasks for them, because all the while they could do those things for themselves and they could keep all that money. You can just pay somebody and free up your time to enable you to be able to do whatever you want. And that is the ultimate goal, is to have that time, to have that financial freedom, to have that peaceful, and honestly, to have that enjoyable life. And if you're stuck in a rat race right now, I strongly encourage that you create more streams of income. 2019, there's many different things that you can do. There's many different avenues that you can get money from. And we have this thing called the internet. I suggest you take a look and figure out how to get things cracking straight up. The fifth main difference between the rich and the poor is long-term thinking. Now, you see, understand this. Wealth isn't acquired overnight. It's acquired through the long haul, through the journey, through the marathon. Shout out to Nipsey Hussle. It's acquired over continuous effort, continuous hours of working and building your empire. Now, you heard me talk about poor people with flexing and all that stuff. The poor person is worried about instant gratification. They don't have a plan, and you need a plan. And there's a saying that goes like this: a man without a plan is like a ship without a rudder. Yeah, it's in the water, but it ain't going nowhere. You understand? So you gotta understand that to acquire wealth, you have to be structured, you have to have a plan, and ultimately you have to provide a service, as I talked about before. Understand that you have to add value to get value. It's a law of the universe, okay? It's called the exchange law. You have to be able to render a service in order to reap the benefits. There is no such thing as getting something for nothing. So the rich do a great job of planning and thinking long term, thinking about the end game as opposed to what's happening right now. In many ways, you could say that the rich have faith because they see a vision while they're working diligently every single day. Think about it like this. You can plant a mango seed today. You can take care of it, water it, but you may not see the benefits of that mango tree for a few years. All the while you're spending your time maintaining it and watering it. Let's say on the 4th year, you finally get some mangoes. That is exactly how the rich people acquire their wealth. They make smart investments, okay? They see a vision and they're thinking about the long term. They're not thinking about right now, okay? A lot of them don't get emotionally involved in things. And the sixth and final main difference between the rich and the poor is working with other people, okay? Rich people take risk and they understand that you cannot get all the way to the top without some form of help, without somebody putting you on to something, okay? Now think about it this way. Would you rather make $300K and keep 100% of that? Or would you rather make 35% of $10 million? You see, there's a big difference. When you are in partnership with other business owners or just in partnership with people, okay, you have more than one mind coming together for the greater good. Okay, you're able to reach new heights when you have a team behind you, when you have help. As I said before, getting rid of those tedious tasks is what's going to open you up to have more time to invest into things that are going to be more lucrative for you. So think about it this way. You can get to the top, you know, or rather you can get very far, but what good is it to get so far and not even be able to enjoy it with anybody, not even be able to enjoy it with the people who you love? What good is that? That's not fulfilling at all. So the rich people understand that it's a blessing to get some help if it's the right help, and they look for partnerships, they look for investors. Okay, there's nothing wrong with help, and the poor person oftentimes will think that they can do everything for themselves, and sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes it's not the case. But life is much more fulfilling when all of the tedious tasks are taken care of and your free time is opened up to ultimately benefit you. So guys, those were the 6 main differences between the rich and the poor. So I definitely hope you guys enjoyed this valuable information. If any of these tips resonated with you, you may have to sit back and evaluate your life. It's okay. You know, just figure out exactly what you want to do, because I promise you, anything you think you can have. Abundance is all of our birthrights. We all deserve to have enjoyable lives. We all deserve to have an enjoyable experience while we're here. So to wrap it up, we have self-development, assets versus liability, long-term, trading your time for money, getting help from people. All of these things are what keeps rich people rich. They understand these core principles. And now that I've given you guys this information, I hope that you guys go out there and apply all of these things, because abundance is our birthright. So if you guys like the video, make sure to like it, of course, comment, subscribe, share the video with people that you think this can add value to their lives. And of course, man, I'm gonna keep bringing you guys the dope and informative content. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay blessed.